Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of EricksonTV. Curtis here with Lauren. Hello Lauren.
Hey everybody.
Hey Lauren, this our Sue Fulkerson gave us this article she found in the Seattle Times for this past Monday, and it was talking about the headline, Financial Outlook Grim for Future Retirees in the United States.
Grim.
And what they were talking about was kind of related to the economic hardships we've had, starting in 2008, with the decline in the stock market, and also with many people losing their jobs or having their hours cut. The main takeaway I wanted to see about this article is that they said that 53% of people that are not retired, statistically, they say are not going to have enough retirement assets to retire comfortably in. Which was a huge jump from before. Just as soon as like 5 years ago, the number was only like 30%.
Oh, okay.
And then the second thing they said is one of the strategies, to deal with this is people will anticipate working longer. Okay. So the last time they did this survey, they said that 42% of people thought that they were going to work longer than initially expected before they retired.
Right.
Now it's 67%. So what's your takeaway from that?
Good luck on being able to work longer.
Right.
I mean, not all 67% of those are going to have that ability. I mean, I think that that's a fine solution for a lot of people. It works for the people who can do it. I think that the people who actually can keep working longer is a smaller group of people. There are more people who think that they can do that than there are who really will be able to do it when they... when you lose your job and you're in your late 60s, it's very hard for somebody to want to rehire somebody who's an older worker at a higher pay scale, and is often considered to be, a lot of people that I've talked to have basically said, if you go in to meet with the hiring manager and the hiring manager is younger than you are, you're not getting the job.
Right.
And I don't know that that's necessarily true, but that's the reality that a lot of people feel that they're facing.
Yeah, no, I think there's some truth to that. So what the takeaway you're saying from that is, although 67% are planning on working longer than maybe initially expected, some factors out of their control may not allow that.
Right.
Okay.
Or at the very least, it's not going to bring in the benefit that they might think, because they're not going to be making as much money as they might hope that they could make.
Right. Yeah, and I think this isn't talked about in the article, but my takeaway from and I think that's probably correct. We're seeing a lot of people in their 40s and 50s and even 60s that are not prepared for retirement, and they're way behind the curve of what they need to do. So I think for people, I think there's going to be a new type of retirement. There's going to be people relocating to lower cost locations. Renting instead of buying a home. There's all kinds of financial creative strategies that people are going to somehow do to make buy. The other thing is that I've been reading is that there's going to be going back to the trend of parents moving back in with their kids and having extended households. I mean,
I think for some families it'll work better than others, but I think that that's definitely a strategy that has worked historically in many cultures for a long time, without regard to any talk of retirement savings. And I just think at some point you've got to really we had spent all this money on real estate buying these big houses that it turns out nobody really wants. I mean, at some point you've got to think that maybe the exact opposite solution is the correct solution for a lot of people.
Right. So to end this episode, a little bit of positive optimism is that it's never too late to start a retirement plan, start a savings plan, because the more that you can do now, it's easier to make the tougher decisions now while you do have a job.
That's right.
Cut expenses. And maybe even if you don't have a retirement account, start your savings right now, because it's never too late. Because the more you have at retirement, the more choices you have.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you for watching this episode of Erickson TV, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.
See you next time.